It's a relationship,
Okay.
whether it's the start of a relationship, if it's helping an owner-operator get their feet off the ground with their first 1, 2, or 3 trucks, or if that's servicing a longstanding and loyal fleet customer, whether they've tried financing with us or not, it's all about service. It's not about the finance. It's not about the money per se. It's about really tailoring our solutions to the customer that we're getting to know and the relationship that we're developing.
Welcome to Beyond the Bulldog, presented by Mack Trucks. I'm your host, Brian Wright. This podcast celebrates people in the trucking industry and those who move it forward. Through these authentic conversations, you'll engage in personal stories from the driver's seat, behind the businesses, and around the industries that support trucking. We also aim to reveal tricks of the trade that will help you down the road. This is mile marker 45, and we host Heather Heggie, Managing Director of Mack Financial Services in Canada. Her experience in transportation finance spans both the automotive and truck industries and has taken her from Canada to America to Europe and back. We discuss Heather's current role in financial services to build long-term relationships with customers. In this episode, you'll learn how commercial truck financing is different than personal automotive financing, what it takes to utilize financing as a tool to optimize your business fleet, and some helpful tips for when you're ready to build a relationship with Mack Trucks.
You're listening to Beyond the Bulldog, presented by Mack Trucks.
Well, welcome to the show. I am here with Heather Heggie. She is the Managing Director of Mack Financial Services in Canada.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. If you will, for those that are listening and watching, would you reintroduce yourself, share what you do on a daily basis?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Brian. Happy to be here. I actually lead the Canadian organization for Mack Financial Services. We are a tried and tested organization that supports the Mack brand in Canada. We only focus on trucking. That is what we do, and our customers, our joint customers between the manufacturer and the dealers.
What's your background? How did you get into finance for Mack?
It's a great question. I wasn't necessarily looking at that as a little girl, but I am so happy that this is my world. I actually grew up in dealerships. And it was an interesting experience because it was all I ever knew. And eventually I found myself in a call center, supporting transportation industry, supporting an OEM. And I just had a passion for customer service.
Yeah.
And so eventually it just, I sat in the seats and did my time, and I just fell in love with everything about it, and particularly with trucking.
Was your family in the dealership business?
My father was overseeing dealerships all through my whole life. It's all I ever knew.
Did he work at Mack?
He did not work at Mack.
Gotcha.
I'm the lucky one that gets to work with Mack.
We all love bulldogs.
We do.
So with the customer service experience you had, were you able to relate to the customers that you found that was your passion and kind of clicked?
And it's never gone away. It's exactly what you said. And it's about putting yourself in their shoes. And I can even reflect on that 25 years ago because that's how long I've been in the industry. It also gives me a certain starting point with my team that touches these customers of ours in the brand. And it's really about putting yourself in the customer's shoes. And I think that's where, specifically when you're captive, meaning we only finance Mack trucks, it's really important that the customer feels that we understand transportation, we understand trucking, right down to, are we dealing with a garbage truck? Are we talking about construction? We need to get to know our customer and find solutions for them before they even know they need them.
What differences are there between those industries, even within the trucking world?
What our customers do, what they do for work, how they do their work, where they do their work. These are all factors into how we can find solutions, but also what our commitment is to them. It's not just the financing.
What is it?
It's a relationship. Whether it's the start of a relationship, if it's helping an owner-operator get their feet off the ground with their first 1, 2, or 3 trucks, or if that's servicing a longstanding and loyal fleet customer, whether they've tried financing with us or not, it's all about service. It's not about the finance. It's not about the money per se. It's about really tailoring our solutions to the customer that we're getting to know and the relationship that we're developing.
What are your primary responsibilities?
So overseeing the organization, it's finding the right people, first of all, with the right mindset, with the right passion, because it is a specific industry.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you need to know it. It means that you need to be curious and that you want to really speak our values. And what that means is making sure that we service those relationships. And I would say not only that, but I deal with the brand probably on a daily basis as well, which is, a good part of my job. And it's also with the dealer network. So when you're in captive finance, when you're in financial services, you need to make sure that ecosystem, that the services that you provide are really connecting the dots between the sale of the truck from the dealership, making sure that we're servicing really that mutual customer, and ensuring that relationship is going to come full circle again.
How do you find the right people? I mean, you have different experiences all over the place, right? Think of fast food industry. Some stand out and some experiences are like, wow, am I ever going to visit this place again? But that matters. Like the culture really does matter, so that when there's an interaction with your customer, that it's consistent and right. How do you do that?
I think one of the first steps is making sure that even though we're a service, that they know our product. And it's important that they understand in our world what that financing means and how it's connected to that product.
What does success look like for you at Mack Financial Services?
Putting customers in trucks and moving them onto the road. And if we can enable that, we do look at ourselves as an enabler. That's one of our primary jobs. Then it's the responsibility of making sure that we keep them happy and informed during that relationship that they have with us, and that we're there to also provide them solutions when they need someone to lean on, whether that be in more difficult financial times, whether that be an expansion of their business, or just a change in life.
What are some of the challenges that you deal with?
I think right now I wouldn't say keeping me up at night, because it's a cyclical business, and because we only do trucks. We've been through this before. We've been through a freight recession before. We've been through these challenges before. It's making sure that I keep my teams calm. It's making sure that I keep service levels very high. And when you use Mack Financial Services, you have options. I want to ensure that we're giving all of those options to our customers when they need us the most, whether that be at skip payments, depending on what their business looks like, modifying their contracts during a difficult time. This is why we're here. This is how we step up, and this is how we have long-term relationships, because this is all we do. When it comes to challenging times like we're all in right now, but particularly in the trucking industry, my goal is to keep everyone in their trucks or help support whatever their changing need is, and for my teams to do that.
Who would you define as your customer?
My customer is the end user. My partners are my dealers.
That's really well said. I didn't know how you're going to answer that. So how do you work with those relationships to really create that connection from the customer to the truck so that they can run their business and have terms that work for them? There's
a huge difference as well between financing in automotive and financing in trucking.
Yeah.
And to me, automotive is a transaction. When I look at commercial financing and trucking, this is where we need to get to know our customer from day one. And that may start at the dealership, that may start at the brand. But it's creating an open communication and dialogue as everyone's trusted partner that we're going to take care of this business need with the customer, with that end user. But it's really the understanding, where can we help them in their life cycle of their business? What financing terms would best suit them, because they may not know, if they've been dealing with the bank, what options they do have for extended terms, for example. We know these assets. We know them much better than anyone else, their longevity, what they're going to look like at the end of their term. Are they looking for flexibility versus equity and ownership? These are all questions that we have teams that are passionate about this business that look to find the answers before the customer even knows they need them.
And that's all translated through the dealers. How do you make sure that they are up to speed on new offerings, the flexibility, being able to ask the questions of the customer so that they can help provide the truck that they're looking for?
So the partnership that we have with our dealers runs so deeply that we take their trust very seriously. And if they're able to sell that truck and trust us, the care of their customer, so that us as experts, when it comes to tailoring financing needs, tailoring products that could help support the business that we're looking to have a long-term relationship with, that's where we don't take over, because it's really important that they know where we are with their customer, but that we do this in the most efficient way possible so that everyone can win.
How is business in Canada different than that in America, or is it pretty much the same overall?
I would say from a financial services perspective, it's very similar. Where there could be some differences would be specifically when it comes to specs on trucks, when it comes to specific resources and vocational units and what they're doing across the countries. But when it comes to what we do, the way we treat the customer, the offerings that we have, they are very similar, Ryan.
How are the products created? In other words, for terms, interest rates, you want to be able to present something to a customer that they can manage on their own side. At the same time, there's some risk extended from your behalf as far as capital. So how do you balance that and create something that works?
So let me start with maybe the risk and the pricing and the interest rate, as you mentioned. That's something that we plan for. We are data rich, so we like to analyze our portfolio and make sure that we segment, because things look differently in different segments, different industries.
Sure.
And Mack has such a large breadth of vocational units, construction units, different types of trucks, and we need to be mindful of that, and that's why we're the experts. When it comes to products, we need to stick close to our dealers. What's selling, what's not selling. Be mindful of new product launches, what's coming down the road. No pun intended, but kind of. And then also with our brand, and it's connecting all of those dots, and that's where, once again, we're an enabler. Because we are able to facilitate those discussions, but it's a three-legged stool. Without one of those parts in the equation, we wouldn't be as successful as we are.
Celebrate Mack Trucks with the best merchandise in the industry. Show off your style with Mack trucker hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. There's also a wide variety of coffee cups, drinkware, bags, and toys. We have the new 125th anniversary collection, as well as our popular old school logos for men and women. Mack Shop is offering free shipping on your order of $49 or more by using the discount code SPEND49. You can take advantage of this coupon and others at mackshop.com. Just click on Mack Coupons to learn more. For the people wanting authentic Mack Trucks gear, visit mackshop.com. We are here with Heather Heggie. She's a managing director of Mack Finance in Canada. Let's talk about loans. Let's say I am a business person wanting to buy my first truck and I need to get a loan. What would that look like? How would I need to be prepared? What should I be ready for?
We would be happy to help you through that process, even if you were a first-time buyer, owner, operator. Of course, you need to know your financials and what your future plans look like too. It's a pretty unpredictable world right now.
Right.
But having an idea of your business plan and what that looks like for you seasonally is a really important start to the conversation.
So if I have a business plan and I know what kind of revenue with contracts and things like that, let's say it's not cyclical, that it's a steady income flow, that I could actually present some information like that to say, look, I'm going to need some help financing my new truck. Here's what I have to support that to gain confidence so that this can go through, right?
And every financing discussion looks differently.
Really?
And that could depend on, is it a new business? Is it an extension of a business? Is there a larger operating company behind your business? A lot of things matter, but there's a lot of ways that we can work with that customer to ensure that we're able to put a transaction together. What we can afford to our customers is a longer term, potentially, than some of our competitors that don't know the business as well as we do. There are higher equipment costs. Let's not kid ourselves. These are massive investments that our customers are making. And this is where, depending on, what the finances look like, how we can work with them on different terms, these are options that we know based off of the equipment that they're purchasing, we can work with the customers on that.
What type of down payment should they be prepared for, or maybe collateral? How do these things come into play?
It's not black and white. As much as I would love to give you the answer, that's actually the advantage.
Okay.
It's that all of those things can be brought into a deal if they're necessary or not. Preparation is going to be key. And as we've discussed, yes, the information that we acquire is very important. Down payment's going to depend on the maturity of the business.
Right.
And collateral, potentially, a personal guarantee, potentially some sort of real estate. Those things come into discussion, but it all depends on the customer. And that's the tailoring that we're able to do. And of course, that's why we pride ourselves in things not being black and white and getting to know the customer's business.
Well, Mack really doesn't build two trucks that are the same. And so I guess the financing follows that too.
Correct.
All businesses are different. What the needs are, whether it's on the job site, on the road, that's going to be different too.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about maybe a larger fleet. So a company comes in and they've got a fleet of 50 trucks and they're wanting to buy 10 and they want to finance it. Well, they've got a history that they can pull from on the finance side. I mean, can this loan be per truck or is it per purchase of 10 trucks? How does that work?
It depends on what the customer needs are.
Yeah.
And that's where once we gather the information, we have the discussions, we get to know the customer. If you're talking about a large fleet, and part of my job, part of my team's job, it's to go out and learn about them. It's to go out and understand them and to have a connection with them.
Yeah.
It's not just a transaction. But we are able to do more sophisticated underwriting. And when I say that, what I mean is flexible terms.
Yeah.
And that is because we know the business better than anyone else.
How does a normal loan process work? Customer visits the dealer, they talk about the trucks, they spec it in, and now it's the finance conversation. And my background is the automotive side, so it's like, here it is, take it or leave it, essentially. But with trucking, it's a lot more custom. So does the dealer then bring in Mack Finance and you have that conversation? How does that work?
So the dealer would be in regular contact with our teams, albeit in the U.S. or Canada. It could also be the brand that brings us in, depending on the size of the customer. And then once that discussion gets started, because we have such a clear connection with the dealer, we like to expedite those deals as quickly as possible. Of course, complexity can fit in, and we maybe need to be in contact with a customer's CFO if we aren't already. But those are things that we easily do, and our teams are prepared and educated when it comes to credit. These aren't just salespeople that we have out there in the field. These are commercial trucking experts to help support the business.
Right.
So the dealer communicates with us, or it could be directly with our salesperson in the field that gets the information back. And that goes back to tailor services that we have.
Yeah.
That process is already well defined with the dealer because we work together so closely and so often that our teams are just an extension of them oftentimes. So once that information comes into our office, we have teams of credit analysts that make sure that we expedite those decisions as quickly as possible. And at times we need more information.
Right.
And it's a pride we have to make sure that we expedite that or that we get back to the dealership, to our sales rep or the customer directly, to inquire and ask for that, because we understand that the longer that they don't have those trucks on the road, the longer it takes for them to get their business up and running.
So in short, it's a consultative service. You want to see the best outcome for not just the customer, but also for the dealer, so you can get these businesses back up and running.
Absolutely.
Well, there are also opportunities for leasing. So instead of going outright to buy a truck, going through your loan process and having that. Tell us a little bit about the leasing program, how that works, who really owns the truck, and what that might look like.
So leasing, and again, there's different terms for that, and when we look at the type of leasing that most frequently Mack Financial Services manages, it's really about flexibility. So lower payments versus a retail loan. like we've talked about, with even the end goal of owning the truck. However, it's a committed balloon or residual at the end that the customer has agreed to, which is also another advantage. Everyone knows what's committed to towards the end of the lease. Other services we offer is we do refinance if for some reason the customer is not prepared to get into a different truck, or they're just not sure about their options at that point, or they haven't made a decision yet. We do look to work with them until they are ready to make that decision with the dealership.
Now, the refinance would be on a loan that they've already taken out.
It could be on part of the loan that they've taken out. It could be on the balloon at the end of a lease.
Got it.
These are just options that they have when they deal with us.
When it comes down to a lease, does the dealership have ownership of the truck and lease it to the customer, or is that something that Mack technically still owns? How does all that work?
When we're talking about a retail finance loan, really the ownership is in the customer's hands. When we do refer to a lease, traditionally, even if the customer is committed to the balloon or the residual at the end, that is actually held by Mack Financial Services.
Why would a customer do a retail loan versus a lease?
So generally speaking, when a customer is looking at a retail loan, they plan to keep the truck longer. It's a concept of equity and control over that asset. It's in their name. It may also be in vocations where, the end value of the vehicle isn't necessarily as known as it would be sometimes with a lease. When it comes to a lease, we see that it provides flexibility. And what I mean by flexibility is that at times you have a lower payment because, of course, you have a larger, there's a sum at the end that's predetermined that you may refinance, you may buy it out. It all depends on what your decision is at the end. We do see this in people that want predictability. And again, flexibility within their business.
What are you finding now that we're in the freight recession? Are people leaning more towards a loan or a lease?
I think it's stayed pretty stable from how they're managing their businesses. We do have the discussion with them at these times to understand if there are different needs, but I think that goes back to the entire conversation about continuously understanding where their business is, because it's not just about we need to know the work they're doing, how they're doing it so we can best support them. But like anything, things change.
Right.
And we need to be there to have those conversations and make sure that we support them in the best way we can. So offering different structures and products is a real important part of Mack Financial Services.
Last week, Mack Trucks unveiled the all-new Mack Keystone, a purpose-built Class 8 vocational tractor designed to thrive in the most demanding on- and off-road environments. The Mack Keystone combines terrain versatility with the latest advancements in driver comfort, safety technology, and Mack's legendary durability. The Keystone is engineered for customers who operate in construction, agriculture, logging, livestock hauling, and other applications that require a truck capable of performing on highways and challenging off-road terrain. The Keystone shares its interior architecture with the Mack Pioneer, bringing the same level of driver comfort and ergonomic excellence to vocational applications. The cab features wraparound controls and high visibility. The Keystone is powered exclusively by the Mack MP13 engine, delivering up to 540 horsepower and 1,950 pound-feet of torque to tackle the most demanding heavy haul applications. Paired with the proven M-Drive HD transmission, the Keystone delivers smooth, efficient power in any terrain. Check out the new Mack Keystone and more at macktrucks.com. We are here with Heather Heggie, Managing Director with Mack Financial Services up in Canada. And speaking of financing, let's say we've got our new truck. We want to protect that thing. What services do you offer that can help these customers with their investment? So
beyond just financing, there are products, and this is also why it's really important that we're not just looked at as a finance company, but we understand our customers. We understand the life cycle not only of the vehicle, but potentially also how we can protect their business and themselves. We do have a couple products. One is called GAP. And really what it's a guaranteed assistance protection. And what that does, Brian, is that if there's an unforeseen and very unfortunate accident and the truck is a total write-off, what that gap protection does is really cover that potential delta, that loss, between what the insurance company is going to give them and what they owe on their loan.
Mm-hmm.
Other products that we have, we do have life event waivers. And what that means is that we can help cover payments depending on the product. If you experience a major life disability, something medical related that is really going to impact the payments and your business.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So these are all really, really important things in our industry. And then the other product that I wanted to share is we protect our equipment as well. And that's not a traditional insurance product, but the equipment itself, it's really about protecting physical damage coverage against these units. And again, some of our trucks are supposed to get a little bit beat up, but others are not. So we want to make sure that we give options to those businesses that could really utilize that coverage.
Well, this sounds like the coverage for these trucks to protect your investment just furthers the commitment to the customer, keeping the relationship. Again, it's not a transactional kind of relationship. It's we want to make sure these customers are happy that they'll continue in a Mack truck for a long time.
It's exactly right. And again, it's protecting their investment. It's protecting their balance sheet. It's protecting them so they can get back up and running, whether it be personally, whether it be the asset. But it's making sure we protect that loan because we are forgiving when it comes to how we look at these different times in our customers' lives.
Right.
And having that history with us is incredibly powerful, not only in the good times, but particularly when things are more challenging in the industry.
And that creates more loyalty too.
Correct.
Right? At the end of the day, we want to see success. And it sounds like there's flexibility and products, if you will, that are available that can foster that.
That's right.
There's another service that Mack is offering that was announced, I guess, with the launch of the Pioneer and the Anthem called Load Finder. So for our over-the-road drivers out there, for free, they get access to this software. Would you explain a little bit about what Load Finder is?
So what it does is it connects drivers to real-time loads across the country, depending on the route that they're on. It eliminates deadhead miles, and it really improves the utilization, which, as we know, is for owner-operators and small fleets. Keeping the truck loaded is everything. And when the asset stays productive, revenue stays stable. Very important to all of us, mostly important to our customers. And that strengthens the entire business. So we're looking for ways, again, not only to provide a product, the truck itself, but to make sure that we're just strengthening, how we solve problems for our customers, particularly in challenging times like right now.
What tips would you give a commercial business looking to buy or lease a truck?
I think what I would say is for tips or for that finance conversation, whether it be at a loan or a lease, I think it's just being prepared to share with us, a little bit of the business story. We're okay with ups and downs in the business. We understand trucking. We understand that it's a cyclical business. It's being open to having that conversation and let us take some of that worry away from or some of the concerns away by being able to connect and have that relationship, understand the business, understand how you do your work. What's the plan, 2 years down the road? We're looking to get to know you and looking to get to know your business. And what's important over and above being financially prepared for these major investments is also just being open and understanding what you're looking to accomplish long term. None of us can predict what's going on right now. That's for sure. But us understanding, the plans that you have for your business, I think is incredibly important because we want to show you our commitment as a customer as well as your commitment to us because we're going to be there for you. That is what we do. That is all we do. If there's been any, ups or downs in your business, we want to hear about them. We want to understand them. You don't need to stop, growing or thoughts of growing or making plans. We are there to understand how you got through them. We would love to get to know that part of your success.
So in a strange way, this is almost like dating, if you want to think about it. Someone's interested in buying a truck and they need that relationship so that they can continue on. So it's about being open, being able to disclose what your plans look like.
Yep.
I mean, let's say You're a relatively new business. You landed a big deal, and now you're going to go from 1 truck to 5. So you've got to hire new drivers. You got to get new trucks because now your word's on the line to commit. And these things really need to be talked about up front and early on. And it can be a scary conversation at the beginning.
It can. And sometimes at first, those things are very protective. And I understand why someone wouldn't always be prepared to share that. It's the reminder that this is what we do. This is what we want to understand. And what those plans are to go from 1 to 5, I think it's super exciting for us as well. That's the exact growth that we want to have with our customers, to have with the dealer. So yes, all of this can be scary. But this is where we do take calculated risk at Mack Financial Services. This is what we do. And this is where knowing the industry and knowing the business, we're prepared to step up when our customers do as well.
Yeah, it's important. So oftentimes we take for granted what the trucking industry does. We look at our phone, we click something, it shows up tomorrow. And there are a lot of moving pieces, literally and figuratively, that go on to make those things happen. And finance is a big part of that. I really am happy that you joined us today. What other things would you like to contribute to our conversation?
Well, thank you for having me. And I just think that the passion that we have at Mack Financial Services is really an extension of the brand, the product, and what our industry does in the world. I think that you said it perfectly where, I don't think we take enough time to think about, what our customers are actually doing and the power that the industry has in the world. I would just say that if you're ever curious or, even if you're committed somewhere else and have a partnership somewhere else, we would love to have a conversation just to see if there's a way that we can support your business better from a customer perspective. And it's all about service.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Bulldog with Heather Heggie, Managing Director for Mack Financial Services in Canada. We hope you found this conversation to be informative and entertaining. Your feedback is important to us so we can produce the episodes you want to hear. So let us know what you think about this week's podcast, creative ideas to make it better, and who you think has a great story to share. Please include that information in the comments section below.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and make sure to follow the Bulldog.